was the traffic, Al?
Wonderful.
You always
Never
get
lets
snarled.
me down.
You always get snarled up in traffic when you come here.
Yeah, usually the A1, but the A1 wasn't bad at all.
Really?
It was when I got here.
Yeah, I think they're doing roadworks all over
Thorn
Doncaster.
Road is a nightmare.
Thorn Road, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all around Donny at the moment is shocking. It's really bad.
They decided to dig all the holes at once.
That's it. I think they've got something about they've got to spend the budget, haven't they, before the end of the financial year? Otherwise, they don't get the same money again.
Why don't they spend it on jazz?
Why don't they spend it on jazz? That'd be good. Why don't they spend it on jazz?
Good question.
Well, if they did, then Doncaster Youth Jazz Association and the Doncaster Jazz alumni wouldn't be Doncaster's best kept secret, would it?
Probably not, no.
Which is why you're here, isn't it? So you've come for rehearsal. You've got rehearsal tonight.
Yep.
Is it for the Hull gig?
Yes.
All right. So what are you playing tonight? Do you know what you're playing?
Yes, we've got a set list. I can't remember what's the first track.
Well, you're doing some Bob Florence, aren't you?
We're doing some Bob Florence and
some stuff off the album, probably.
There's one of my things going into.
Have you got an arrangement? Are we doing another one of yours?
No, not another one yet. I do.
Is there one in the pipeline?
There's one in the pipeline, yeah. It's almost finished.
Yeah?
But I was hopefully going to take it to France.
Yeah.
And it's called The Road to Limonest.
Well, there is talk of us going back next year.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was a real shame that you missed that because it was a good trip. It was a real good trip.
I was really choked not to go.
Well, we'll have to try and make it happen again next year for you.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the band went down really well. The T-shirts went down really well. It was a good trip. It was a shame that you couldn't make it because it wasn't the same without you.
Yeah.
James did a nice little speech about you at one of the concerts and talked about you. Yeah. But no, it was a good trip. But we'll do it again. Don't worry, we'll do it again. Yeah. So this album, how many times have you listened to it? Do you think?
Sorry.
How many times have you listened to the album?
Oh, I listened to it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get?
I always put it on when I'm doing my ironing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here and it's over there.
What do you think? What's your favourite chart to listen to? Do you think?
Oh, blimey!
I know it's a tough question.
It is a tough one, but I do particularly like Mandeville.
Yeah.
Now, because I always loved Patrick Williams.
Right. I don't really know much about him. Who was he? What did he?
He was. I don't know a lot of history about him, but he's been around he was around a long time.
Right.
I actually met him in Atlanta at the IAJE.
All right.
They had a forum.
Yeah.
You know, there was Patrick Williams, Horace Silver.
Wow.
Lots of guys on it. Their names on this forum, and there were some very silly questions came from the audience.
Right.
But, somebody was asking questions about what sort of curtains shall I put in my jazz club.
Oh, wow.
Some of the answers were fabulous as well. But no, Patrick Williams, I came across him first back in, beginning of the 70s.
Right.
When I was with Johnny Howard's band. And he came to me and he asked me to transcribe a couple of things off that one of the first albums, Pat Williams.
Okay.
He used to be Pat Williams.
Okay.
Then he became Gentleman Patrick.
Right.
I'm not sure why, but...
So you basically did some takedowns of his stuff?
Yeah, but they were more commercial material than things like Mandeville.
Right.
But he's got an awful lot of good recording stuff.
I must admit, when we first played Mandeville, I don't think I was there when we first did it. I didn't make that rehearsal, or I was out of the room or something. Which is why I'm not on it on the album. But it was only until we actually recorded it and I was listening to it in its entirety in the control room that I realised how good it is. Because sometimes when you play in a chart and you're concentrating, you're not always fully aware what's going on around you musically, although you should be, but it's hard sometimes. But that tune is, it's...
This is the point about answering your earlier question about how many times have I listened to it.
Right.
It's like reading a book or watching a film. Every time I do it, I find something else in it,
right.
You never really get the full benefit, and you just keep trying.
Yeah.
But I think my favourite album that Pat Williams made was Threshold. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
No,
well, you should be.
Not.
It's
really.
There's a track on there called Mr. Smoke.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Is it a big band album?
It is, but it's all multi-tracked.
Okay.
Tom Scott does all the woodwind saxes. He has Buddy Childers tracked 4 trumpets.
Do you think that works when people do that?
Oh, it worked.
Yeah, but I always think that it would sound weird because everyone's going to have, even though you're on a different instrument or a different part, it's going to sound like you're the same person.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because Mike Cattingoob did that, didn't he? Mike Cattingoob literally recorded every instrument on one of his albums.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a great... It's tight. It's so tight.
Oh, yeah.
But it's almost too tight, if you know what I mean.
Yes, it's a bit clinical sometimes.
And I think that comes from, if it's the same person playing it, they're literally going to play every phrase identically each time.
Yes,
that's
true.
But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check that out. In hindsight, maybe that's how we should have done our album. It would have been a bit easier.
Well, yeah, but the end of the back end of this tale is, as I say, Pat Williams booked Buddy Childers to do the whole lot. But what he didn't tell Buddy was, and Buddy Childers told me this himself, he said what he didn't do, he didn't tell him that he booked Marvin Stamm to do all the jazz.
Oh, so
and Buddy was absolutely furious.
Right. So, because he was playing the parts but didn't get any solos.
That's right. Yeah. He did all the donkey work.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
It was very hard as well, the real heavy stuff.
I bet.
It's worth listening.
I will check Threshold by Pat Williams. I'll check it out. So, Mandeville, the horns on that are just, amazing.
That's right. I mean, but that was another one of the best features of Pat Williams' writing.
Yeah.
His use of horns.
Right.
I mean, there was no saxophone section. Just Tom Scott doing his stuff.
Really?
Yeah. But the horns I don't think the horns were multi-tracked.
Right.
Although the trombones might have been done by 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
And then there's John Guerin on drums. Right. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The whole thing's great.
I seem to remember listening to stuff as a kid that probably Dad had on and I was listening to it. And I feel like there was French horns and tuba used a lot more back then in big bands than it is now. Certainly Bob Florence used tuba quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, I suppose it's hard, isn't it, to get some horn players to come. If they're not playing on every tune, it's going to be hard to get. I would just love to do a gig where we've got 3 or 4 horns in the band.
Yes, it will be good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What other stuff? Which ones did you direct then on the album? And obviously, you did your chart.
Well, I did mine over the top.
Nadine plays a great solo.
Oh, that was unbelievable.
I know.
That's one of the reasons I keep listening to it.
It's unreal, isn't it?
I also did that. Not West Side Story. Sound of Music thing.
Oh, My Favourite Things.
Favourite Things.
Yeah.
Yes, I did that.
I was just talking to Joe about that. That is so hard, that tune.
I know, and I'm sorry about the sax chorus.
You made it actually slightly easier than the original one.
I was trying to.
I don't know if Tom ever told Steve Parry that we had to change it.
I told him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was he all right about it?
Oh, he was fine. He had a good laugh.
Just couldn't play it. Literally, it was so hard to play. I mean, we could have if we'd have had enough goes at it, but it was just...
Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
Joe was saying the same thing, that was his favourite tune, and I was like, Wasn't mine. I mean, not because it's not great, because it is awesome, Steve Parry, if you're listening.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's just rock hard to play.
Yeah.
Really hard. But it did come out really well on the album, I thought.
Yes.
Came out. Because we've played it live on a few things prior to that. And it was like, oh, God, this isn't ready yet. But it was when we got in the studio. It was really good. But yeah, thanks for rewriting that, Solly. It made it a bit easier.
Yes, it was difficult to know what to do with it. Well, I think the bottom line in the whole thing of that was I just more or less took out all the triplets, semi-quaver triplets.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah,
and just,
that bit, yeah.
I think that helped a little.
Yeah. It did a bit. But it's still a rock hard. But yeah, thanks for that. And it was your birthday as well, wasn't it, when we were there?
Oh, yes, it was.
Was it on the Saturday or the Sunday? I can't remember.
What days were we in the studio?
We were there Saturday and Sunday. I can't remember which one it was. Was it on the Sunday?
I think it might have been, yeah. Yes.
So that's kind of nice to have a birthday, have one of the directors' birthday whilst we're doing it.
Brilliant, yeah, it was great. It was a lovely...
Yeah, it was a good vibe, wasn't it?
The whole event was just great for me.
Are you enjoying being in front of a band again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's your natural habitat, isn't it?
Yeah, truth to tell, when Louise, my wife, died in October 21, I lost interest in everything. Absolutely. I didn't want to play again. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah, I know.
But I think your father was responsible for rekindling my interest.
Yeah. Well, it's great that helps you get through that,
it certainly
traumatic
did,
time.
And it's great to be back in front of a band, not just any band, but a band that sounds like that one does. I mean, they're not all...
We're not all superstars,
they're
are we?
not all top session men, and they're not all pros, but they don't half sound like them.
I know.
They just pull all the stops out.
Yeah.
And it just came together beautifully.
Yeah, it did.
It really did.
It did. I mean, it was a long old project because of COVID and stuff, but when we got in there and we did it, and it was, it felt really good on the
It was
on the
well
couple of
worth
days.
the effort.
It was.
A real tribute to 50 years of John's work.
Yeah, 50 years.
Yeah.
And what's nice as well, for you, I would have thought, well, it's nice for me, I think it's nice, is that some of your students that went to Leeds are in the band.
Yeah,
because obviously you weren't involved with us back then, but you are now. But like Tom and James and probably Gareth as well, they studied with you, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
So that must be nice to see your old kind of students,
That's right,
playing your music.
I was just telling you that. My college big band, which contained, let's see, the trumpet section was Tom Tate, Sean Hollis, do you remember Sean?
Yeah, remember Sean.
Simon Dixon.
Yeah.
Gareth Smith.
Yeah.
And I can't for the life of me remember
and they all were in
fifth trumpet.
They all played in DJO.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And after I retired in 2007, they bullied me into putting the band back together, and that's how that came about.
Yeah, nice. I've obviously played with other people as well that aren't in our band on the circuit, and they always have good things to say about you and your your big band and your writing and stuff. Because I think nowadays there's very few people around like yourself that have got a long history of big band playing, writing, arranging, directing. It's like those days. I mean, you could have said those days were gone when I was a kid, but they're definitely going now. Even though big band music is originally from the 30s and 40s, it was a big thing, and it's nice that there's still people like us that still want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now there's other styles coming into it and stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, and a lot of colleagues of mine have been saying for 40 years we've been saying now the big bands have had it.
Yeah,
and we're still here.
Yeah, still hanging on.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good because it's good stuff. It's good music.
It's amazing.
It's just
another track on the album that I turned out to be quite proud of. It's nothing to do with me, but Tom Tate contacting Tom Cubis and talking him into doing that.
That was good, wasn't it?
That arrangement for your dad.
Yeah, that is a good one. I mean, when Tom told me about that, I thought he was winding me up. I thought, nah, that won't happen. And then he came to the Jazz Centre and we set it up with Dad. I just said, Tom's coming to say hello, and he presented it to him. That's one of my favourite tracks to play because of that sax solo in it. Tom Cubis always writes amazing solos.
I love
for
the
sax.
arrangement.
Yeah.
That's another of my, top tracks.
We nearly called the album that. And then we didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we didn't in the end, because I think 50 years, it does what it says on the tin.
It's a lovely milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for helping us out with it and all your input, because it wouldn't sound as good as it does if it weren't for your guidance and input and expertise. So thanks very much for that. And long may it continue.
Yeah.
You better get off to the pub because you've got rehearsal soon, haven't you?
We have.
All right.
Good God.
You need to go and get some food with Dad. And then I hope rehearsal goes well tonight. I hope Thursday goes well. I'm sure it will. And I hope to see you. I'll be back in the saddle soon, hopefully.
Hope so, Mark. I hope so.
Because I'm missing it.
I'm missing. We're all missing you.
My reading chops have gone completely now, I reckon.
Give up.
Yeah. Have to get
It'll
back
only
into
take
it.
a couple of blow-throughs to...
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not a Steve Parry chart, I'll be all right. Right, we'll leave it there.
Right.
Thank you, Al.